Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging with Nate the Drummer. Trying something new. Gonna be joined today by Ed Allison. He's my next interview. You may know him if you know Gunmetal Gray. He's the bass player. Really good. He's in the band called Enema, which is a Blink 182 tribute band. He's doing big things. He's also on TikTok. If you have TikTok, I recommend finding him. Look up TikTok Goes Punk. Yeah, good stuff. He's always putting good stuff up there. You'll love it. If you love music, or if you just love Ed, which you will. But yeah, we're waiting for him momentarily to pop on, and we'll ask him some questions, find out more about him. Hope everybody enjoys this. It's my first time, so please let me know if there's any problems, and we'll go from there. Hello.
Oh
Hey.
man, hold on. I
What?
Can you
Uh-oh.
hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're just like garbly gook nonsense. Give me 1 second. Let me try something.
That might just be me.
I'm gonna switch some things around here.
Sorry. Uh-oh. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's the first one. It could be these dollar store headphones too. Can you hear me? Yeah? Should I keep talking? Is it the headphones?
There we go. Is that working now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There we go. Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I've been stressed out trying to get this thing figured out.
I'm with you there.
Especially after our last, conversation that no one will ever hear.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I really do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do I have to hold the mic or can I let it down? Can you hear me
You're fine.
now?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. All right. All right, buddy. Well, I guess we'll get started.
Yeah.
This is going to be on YouTube, and then, we'll be setting people up. If they don't know who you are, they will.
All right. Very cool.
So when did music first pique your interest?
Probably when I was like, 10 or 11. I mean, seriously. Because I'd always been singing in the car, when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
My mom used to sing in the car with me all the time. She was an alto in choir, so she always sang the harmonies, which is why I like picked up on it really early. And I joined band and choir when I was in like 4th grade. I played the clarinet.
Oh, wow.
I picked up guitar when I was like 12 or 13, and then pretty much went from there.
So was guitar your first love? Can you still play clarinet?
Yeah, so I played. I
Two
actually
different
played.
questions.
I played clarinet all the way up through college.
Oh, wow.
Because I went to Westchester for music education,
Mm-hmm.
with a vocal concentration. So like I was a voice major, but I played clarinet in the marching band all 4 years. I did. I played bass clarinet in the concert band.
I never heard of bass clarinet.
It's just a big ass clarinet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Bass clarinet, huh? I'll have to look that up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you play bass in one band, but then guitar and everything else. I guess that was just out of necessity, right?
I actually, most bands I play in now, I play bass.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my main band obviously has got Metal Gray. We played metal stuff, and I started playing with them back in 2015 when they needed a bass player.
Mm-hmm.
But I play bass in a band called Y2 Kids. They're
okay.
a 2000s tribute band, so we play all
wow.
in 2000s.
That's awesome.
I obviously play guitar for my solo stuff, my original
right.
stuff. And then I've done a bunch of fill-in gigs where I've played bass for Smiley Foot, one of Eric Arndt's bands.
Yeah.
I've played bass for Nimrod, another one of Eric Arndt's bands.
That's crazy.
I played bass for Hollow Pledge for a little while.
Never heard of
fill-in. They're an original band out of the Philly area.
Oh, okay.
And I've done a bunch of fill-in gigs over the year for, one-off, two-off shows for
Mm,
like the Victoria Watts band, It's All Good, Lasciate, uh,
wow.
a bunch. I very much pride myself in being the guy who can like pick up, 15 songs and learn them in 2 days.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know the pressure of that, like, is it
Yeah.
harder for you to just jump in with somebody?
It's honestly, it's pretty easy, but that's because I have a lot of training, that's where,
Right.
you know, playing guitar and bass, it's a lot of just doing the same stuff over again, but like learning those
Mhm.
songs that quickly is really where having a music education and music degree background really helps. I did
So
I
you
did lots of years of oral training where I
mhm,
listened to songs and I said, all right, these it's this melody, it's following these notes,
mhm.
exactly this chord. So doing that, on a pretty difficult level, and then just listening to pop songs where it's the same five chords, it's like, all right, great,
Mhm.
this is easy.
So do you go by listening to a song, or do you go off of the notes and everything? Like, you know the notes for everything since
I
you have
usually
that education?
so yeah, so like it's a mix of both, right? So I'll listen
Right.
to a song and I'll know, all right, um I know the relationships of all the chords, so I know,
Mhm.
okay, this is my tonic key. I might not know what note that is right offhand because I don't have perfect pitch, but
Right.
I know it's my tonic key, and it's like, okay, now I'm at the 5, now I'm at the 6, now I'm at the 4. So once I know what note I'm starting on, for all that, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I guess that's where I wish I had that education. Like I said, I've tried, back in the day, I had drum teacher and,
Mhm.
the left, right, lefts and the snare. And it just, if I would have paid more attention, if I would have known better, it would have been
Yeah.
nice to be able to read sheet music.
Yeah,
But
and
for me, it's always been just listening, and trying to play, to that.
it's definitely something I try not to take for granted, and something I tell, a lot of other people that are like, that are self-taught, that are like, oh, I wish I could do this and that and the other thing. I was like, it's great, it's really good, but I also, I'm at where I'm at because of that. A lot of people get
Mhm.
to, the same skill level or higher on their own, which I have a lot of respect for.
Yeah. Um, so how did you meet Eric McNeil? He was another
Uh,
person.
yeah, so uh, I definitely saw some kind of Emily's Toy Box show. It must have been, and I'm pretty sure it was a Fat Daddy's, and I'm pretty
More,
sure
more
Mike
than
Wise
likely.
was was like walking on tables, walking on the bar, and they did their classic 15-minute rendition of Blister in the Sun with 80 other songs tied into it, and
Best party band ever.
yep.
Definitely. Yeah, I always wonder too if they know when Mike is gonna riff, Like as a
No,
musician, do they
I
just
talk
you
talk
never
talk
know.
yeah, talking to Eric, they don't know. They sort of know, like, if somebody calls out a request song, this is the one they're gonna do. Like, someone calls
Yeah,
out a band, it's like, okay, they're gonna play this, but
right.
it's all organic.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You have to be a very understanding musician to,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
if you've seen
and you
Emily's
have to
Toy
be
Box, you'd
and you have to
understand.
be pretty quick to pick up on all that stuff. All
Yeah,
those guys are really
definitely.
talented.
I always thought though something like that, the way they mess with songs, it takes the pressure of knowing the actual lyrics. Like he knows them, but he'll
Yeah.
change them to whatever. It's genius in a
Yeah,
way.
it's like you almost have to know them better to be able to mess them up. You know what I mean?
Right.
To mess them up in like a smart way.
Yeah.
There's a really good Mark Twain quote. This is really pretentious talking about Emily's Toy Box, but
I know, right?
there's a good Mark Twain quote that says, "First get your facts straight, then distort them at your leisure." So
Oh,
it's
I
like,
like
know what
that.
you're doing first, then you can make fun of it, and then you can
And
mess
I
it
think
up.
that shows through. Mike knows the songs, but he
Yeah,
chooses
yeah,
to,
absolutely.
you know. That's funny. Why do you think punk and emo resonates with you out of all the genres?
Um, I mean, it probably had a lot to do with just what I grew up listening to. I grew up
Mhm.
listening to the classic rock and things like that. Just rock music, and I really got a taste for it. I like the distorted guitars, I like the fast drums, and
Mhm.
I think something about just the age I was, where punk and emo music was speaking to things that I was experiencing or starting to understand what the experience was. I didn't
Mhm.
I didn't really understand what this painful sadness and sorrow and aloneness was when I was like 13, but it resonated with what I thought I was feeling, and definitely now
Oh yeah.
resonates with me more, and
Yeah.
I'm very glad I have, music from my childhood that still stands up today.
Yeah, there is a lot of it. Like you don't realize it, and I remember growing up thinking like, man, my music's never going to be classic rock. And now my
Yeah.
music's
Yeah.
classic rock.
Yeah.
As you get older, you're just like, wow. But yeah, I think the simplicity draws people to punk too, because you can play it. It's very simple,
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
angsty, it's rebellious,
Mhm.
so I could see that. And definitely for 13, 14, like you're feeling your feelings,
Yeah.
and everything is the worst thing in the world.
Yep.
So I have daughters and I'm trying to tell them, they've witnessed their first breakup, their first real little relationship. And I'm like, you don't even know it's the first of
Yeah.
many. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, I'm never again. We'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope not. Um, so you're on TikTok and how did you start TikTok? There you go.
Uh, so that definitely started in quarantine. That
Mm,
definitely was like it was something that I'd seen ads for all the time, and it just looked
yeah.
like, people dancing along to songs. And I was like, okay, that's not really for me. Um, and I don't remember what it was, but I definitely saw some like a band that was on
Mm,
TikTok and that was doing things on TikTok. I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's pretty cool. And I had a bug in my ear about it from doing a Millennium Music Conference back in February.
oh, okay.
Every panel I went to, everything, there was somebody talked about TikTok or there was a question
Wow.
about TikTok. I mean, it is very
Huh.
much it is the pulse of the 13 to 25. It's that age
Yeah.
range.
Mhm.
You're on TikTok. You know what it
Right.
is. You know the people from it. You know its influence. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I guess that's a place that I need to be. So I
Mhm.
I went on there kind of with that mentality of, all right, like, all right, I guess, yeah, I'll post some
Yeah.
stuff on there. But uh, and now it's come to be one of my like favorite things to do. I like the short videos. It's like
Mhm.
it's kind of like mine was back in the day. It makes you be more creative to see how much you can fit into that time.
Exactly. Yeah, I recently I go back and forth because like I'm on it too.
Mhm.
And my wife gives me grief because it's like I'm a child or I'm childish. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, no, Gordon Ramsay's on there. Like, there's famous people on there that
Yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
not just me being goofy.
Yeah, yeah.
It,
Like most, like Neil deGrasse Tyson is on there.
I know, I
That's
saw
crazy.
him too. Him and his crazy facts. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So it levels the playing field. I think I mean, it's kind of TikTok itself. The name is like childish,
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
sense. So I think that makes it a little weird. I
yeah.
liked it better
I
when it
think
was
it can be.
musically.
Yeah, I think it can be a put off at first just because, like, oh, it's TikTok or whatever. But what
Mm,
I like, it's just like any other platform. It's just like
yeah.
YouTube. Like, there's going to be childish things on YouTube. Just
Oh
don't
yeah.
watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you like what you like, and it's like anything else. If you have something that you like, there's a community for it on TikTok. There's a community
There
for it on
really
YouTube.
is. Isn't it amazing what hashtags have done? If you
Yeah,
think about it,
yeah.
like it's labeled everything. We're
I
labeling
mean,
everything now. Who'd have
it's
thought?
it's the greatest search engine optimization ever, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Like I never years ago we would have been like, a what? You mean the number sign? you know, like it's so crazy this world. Are you surprised that you're so popular? Because you have a lot of people following you.
Yeah, I think I mean, there's certainly a bunch more people that have more followers, but I have like 13,000 followers on
It's
there, which
crazy.
is more than I have on any other social media.
Yeah.
So I've definitely put some effort into the videos that I
Mm,
that I have on there, uh, and I think I said this last time we talked,
mm.
where it's like I'm not surprised that people like it because that's not meant to sound conceited, but it's
No,
like
I know what
you
you
have to
mean.
be something's first fan where you're like,
Mm,
okay, yeah, I make stuff because I like it. I make
right.
music, I talk about things that I like. It's cool that it has spread so far and
Right.
gotten to some. I think that was surprising, and
Mm,
definitely how quick it happened. Like I was maybe at 200 followers or something, mostly like friends and people I knew.
Mhm.
And then, one video overnight, I was at just about 10,000.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. It's really cool because you can see that the younger viewers and people are actually responding to punk, and they're,
Yeah,
or they might
definitely.
be discovering it from the first time,
Yeah,
but they like what you're saying.
there's definitely a whole, subset of like a younger generation that's
Mm,
almost going through the same thing I did, where there's, you know, like when I was 13 or 14, you had bands like, My Chemical Romance just coming out, hitting the scene and,
yeah.
on everybody's mind. And
Mm,
now I know a lot of people in the younger generation, like I'm 26 now, but there's people that are 15, 16 that are discovering My Chemical Romance for
yeah.
the first time
Yep.
and being obsessed with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. We can it's our way of bridging the gap.
Yeah.
So I like that. So how have you changed things up since the pandemic? I guess besides TikTok, or is there?
Yeah.
I guess mainly TikTok.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, so I'm a teacher,
Mm.
for my day job,
Oh
and
wow.
the pandemic obviously stopped all of that. I stopped.
Yeah.
The last day I worked was like March 12th or something like that. Um,
Crazy.
and that was tough, not having something that I went and did every day.
Yeah.
I work another part-time job just to help pay the
Mm.
rent, especially over that time. I did that a lot, but it wasn't something that was like, all right, I'm waking up at 6 a.m. every day, getting ready for school, being productive. And it was tough for a while. It was definitely tough
Yeah.
to get back into like a self-led routine of, all right, I need to be productive, because, and not even just to be productive for productivity's sake, because I like being productive. I like getting stuff done. I like the
Mm.
feeling of accomplishment. So it
Right.
was it was you know it was tough to get back into that. But once I got back into it, and especially having something like TikTok helped, where I was like,
Right.
okay, I I you know am inspired to create for it. And also, now that I have a certain amount of followers, it's like, okay, well, now I feel, not obligated to
Right.
post more content, but like, now, okay, I have a purpose. I have a
Mm.
reason to keep creating and keep doing this.
Yeah, that's how it was. That's why I created this podcast, because I was like, man, I've been a drummer for years. I know lots of people in bands, and it just kind of it was an idea I had, and I'm so creative that I've had so many ideas that come and go. But for some reason, I was like, no, this could stick. You don't ever get to see behind the scenes of how bands are and how they make a song. That's
Yeah,
my original intent, is to go to where they practice and show it that way, and
yeah,
interview and
totally.
hear songs, because we live in a single world. So people
Yeah,
just like, oh, they watch a video, they're like, oh, that was easy, but it's not. You know it, I know it. So I'm glad that something good is still coming out of this whole pandemic. It's weird that anything good can come out of it, but
yeah.
you know, um, I wasn't going to ask you this one again, but why is the band Gunmetal Gray, but you guys wear all black? I think that one's
So
more for the members in Gunmetal Gray when they watch this. They're like, ah,
yeah. Yeah, like I said, I joined in 2015, and the band started in 2011 or 2012.
oh wow,
Um,
you've been around for a
and
while.
and as far as I know, the name came from a paint color. It's
That's
literally like one of
funny.
those Sherwin-Williams paint
Yeah,
color called metal gray.
I don't blame them.
And
It's a badass name.
we're a metal band. We wear black. That's what we do. That's what
I know.
everybody does.
Well, I
There's a
recommend just one
great
show.
We actually just got new pictures done with Eric, because we
Hmm.
we hadn't had pictures with him. And so we had an old picture with our old drummer Muff, that
Hmm.
I was like, all right, we still, it's a nice picture, so I want to use it for promotion. So I got to figure out something. So I photoshopped Eric in to the old pictures, but I was like, all right, because we're wearing all black,
Yeah,
cool metal stuff, and I could not find anything of Eric like that. So his picture is him in like a plaid button down. It's so out of place.
yeah. He's pretty clean cut. I wonder what his students think, because he's a teacher too, right?
Yeah, he is a
So
third grade teacher.
Wow, that's crazy. I wonder what the students think because I'd have a hard time not telling the kids, like, hey, this is
I
what
don't
else I
know.
do.
I mean, he's definitely he's very musical. I have to
Mhm.
imagine he uses some kind of music in his classroom. But I mean,
I would think.
he he's a pretty reserved guy generally. He really loves playing metal. You know,
Mhm.
like that was the whole reason he joined Gunmetal Gray was he was playing in bands like Emily's Toy Box and Radio
Mhm.
Neon, and he was having fun, but he just really wanted to play metal music.
Yeah, I found my 10 Throne CD the other day. I have
Yeah.
it's signed. Ah, I might keep it. I was gonna give my. It's a sad day when I had my CDs in a box to trade in or get money for, but I can't seem to actually get to the music store to do it.
Yeah. I've got two racks of like
It's tough.
100 some CDs over there. It's a
Oh
lot of them
man.
are just like, well, I like this album, even though I don't listen to the CDs anymore. I have,
Yeah.
like the 10 CDs I listen to in my car, and that's about it. But it's
The
like,
art.
oh, I love this album. I'm not gonna get rid of it.
I know it's weird. This attachment we have to music. So, in your opinion, so this is a lofty question, but how do you think we fix the world?
How to,
It's one I didn't ask you.
yeah, you know,
So-
I've got a lot of opinions that I won't share, but
yeah, I get it.
it really comes down to just listening and being
Hmm.
aware. That's what it comes down to. A lot of times the world is the way it is and it stays the way it is because we're
Hmm.
comfortable with that. We're
Yeah,
comfortable with the way things are. And we don't realize that there are other people that aren't comfortable with the way it is, for one reason or another, or can't be
right.
comfortable with the way it is. So we've just got to be aware of them, aware of what's going on, and just listen to other
Yeah,
people, listen to the news, and not just one thing. Listen to everything. Don't listen to just things that confirm what you already think or know.
yeah. So, what is your favorite song to cover and your least favorite, if you have one?
Yeah, I think I said this last time too. It's like I really I like most of the songs I cover. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm sure at some point there's been some song that I didn't like that I covered anyway. But
Hmm.
I mean, nowadays any song I don't like to cover is just one that the audience isn't into. There are
Yeah.
certain songs even if the audience isn't into, I'll still jam to. When we got Metal Gray a while back, tried to uh we tried to add, oh, what song was it? I can't even remember now. It was some like more modern song, and
Hmm.
we tried to add it into our set, and I was like, yes, I love this. This song is awesome. I'm so excited to play it, and I loved playing it, but it just didn't get the same kind of audience reaction
Hmm.
as other songs, you know. So that's what it comes down to. It's like if the audience isn't into it, I'm not into it. You know.
Do you think that every audience is different though?
Yes, definitely, and I
So
think
that's another tough way to judge. I get it, but yeah.
there are definitely times where like I think a song like "Don't Stop Believing" is a great
Hmm.
answer, right?
Oh yeah.
And you get real tired of playing that real quickly,
Yeah.
and especially because like there are some audiences that will go nuts for it, that love it, that love that song, that aren't like, oh, it's a pop song, they're just enjoying it, and then there's
Hmm.
some audiences that will just shut down. We played a
Yeah.
gig, I won't say where, we played a gig back in February where we played that, and the audience was with us like up until that point, and then we played that song, and then everybody just kind of meandered away, and I was like, oh shit, we got to play some heavy stuff.
I get that because I have DJing weddings. I'm still new to it, but I find that I can put a song on, I'll have everybody out there, and then play one song, and poof, it's like
Yeah,
okay, and you can't really switch it in the middle. I mean, I guess I
yeah,
could,
well,
but
and yeah.
it's like just
That's something you sort of got to live with too. It's like, all right, if I'm picking this song, so for the next few
yeah,
minutes, it's either really great or I'm just gonna have to get through it.
yep, or just get through it, and you'll be back for the next one hopefully, and go from there. So let's talk about your solo EP because I really like it. I listen to every song. What inspired Let In, Let Down?
Let and Let Down was inspired by a very bad friendship breakup. So I had a friend of mine who was also a business partner,
Mm,
and we worked together for a long time. We worked pretty well together, and we were in the process of working together more. Like we had more collaboration, we had more things we were doing together that we needed to rely on each other for. We needed to
mm,
be in communication. We needed to do this or that and the other thing. And then, you know, there was a deadline coming up in like December, right? And this was towards the end of November. And I said, all right, there's these things that we need to get done.
mm.
Let's set a plan and let's get them done. And then there was almost a full month where I just did not hear from him, where it was radio silence. I tried calling him, texting him, Facebook messages. I tried to get in
That's so
contact
weird.
with his wife. I tried to get in contact with people that knew him that said, "Oh, yeah, I mean, he's fine. It's not like he's dead, but I don't know why he's not getting back to you. I'm sorry." And there's just nothing. And it felt,
That's
you
weird.
know, it felt like a betrayal
Mm,
because like if something was wrong, if he was dealing with stuff in his life, like I would have understood. If if
right.
if if everything fell through, business
Mm,
wise, because of that, but he was, but I knew what was going on. I would have been fine with it, but it was the fact that there was no communication whatsoever, and it was just this
yeah, that's
feeling of
weird.
completely like like all right, I'm running off the cliff. I'm ready for you to, swing by with the helicopter and drop the ladder and catch me, and then just nothing, and just flying off the ravine. That's what it felt like, and that's a lot of what inspired the lyrics of the song.
Mm,
I had the like skeleton of the song for a little while, just the you know the um the musical parts, the like
mm.
the riff for the chorus, the riff for the bridge or whatever. Um, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I wasn't planning on doing anything with it. I had at that point I released a split album with a roommate of mine like a year or 2 years prior, and that was my last kind of solo venture where I was like, all right, that was okay, but it wasn't what I was hoping for, so I'm not worried about it.
Mm,
And then I had that song that I was just messing around with, and something about the that writing experience of writing that song made me want to say, "Oh, I can like this is something I could do. This is something that I want to do. This is a way to use my voice that I hadn't fully utilized or realized yet."
mm. Yeah, I think it's you get really good songs when you have something messed up like that, you know? It it
100%.
it just brings it out, whether it be breakup. That's why there's so many breakup songs and love
Yeah,
songs. It's, people have to feel something to make a good song. I think that's what
yeah,
I have trouble with like trap music nowadays. They're like, go eat some Fritos or, whatever. It's just, there's no message to it.
I mean, not every song has to have a message,
No,
It's funny,
right.
like everybody likes a jam, a happy song every now and again. But it's especially for people writing it, I think
Mhm,
having something, especially people that write, that are creative, that
mhm.
are artists, having a song that you can relate to on that kind of level, I think is really important.
What is your writing process? Do you have a special room you go to, or is
So
there?
I'm very much like I'm very much a product of the new generation where my writing process is totally scattered. I don't I very rarely will just sit down and say, all right, I'm blocking out 4 hours, I'm gonna write a song. It's usually, I'm driving to work, or I'm just, like laying in bed, and an idea will come to me, and I'll pull out my phone and I'll say, oh, hey, here's an idea for a thing. It's this chord, and the melody goes like da da da, and then forget about it for a month. Come back to it, it's like, oh, yeah, and then I'll sit down and work through it. That's most of them. Some of them I'll actually try to sit down and be like, all right, I just came up with this idea, but I really like it, and I don't want to lose the momentum I have on it. There have been a
Mm.
couple songs, but
Have
then
you?
Let and Let Down was like that, where I I had that old idea, but once I started writing the lyrics, everything for the song happened at once, and pretty much the
Right.
entire thing was in like 2 hours. But then
Yeah, it's
there's
weird.
other songs on that EP, like Fighting Back Against My Mind, that were written over the span of like 2 years, that were finished like 2 or 3 months before the album came out.
Mm. What inspired growing up?
Growing up was kind of a love letter to all my favorite pop punk bands that I grew up listening to.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
like it's pure pop punk fun. It's got a little bit of the melancholy pop punkness in the middle, and it's just all about you know it's about me getting over the fact that I was feeling kind of stagnant in my writing, and I was like, well, I don't know, maybe this was just something I liked to do when I was younger,
Mm.
and now it's kind of gone away, and that is what it is. But it's kind of like, I'm done giving up on myself. I'm done. Because this is what I want to do. This is what I like. And it was very inspired by the tenacity and drive of a lot of my favorite pop punk bands.
That's really
So
cool.
sound wise and message wise, definitely inspired by that.
Were you around? Have you been around for any Gunmetal Gray or any other band collaborations during writing? Have you helped with other?
Yeah. So when I joined in 2015, they were in the very, very beginning stages of writing Island of the Damned.
Mm.
And I came onto that with, I kind of wanted to stay in the background. I was new to the group, and I was like, they have a style of their own because they had, released an EP before that. And it was,
Mm.
I really liked it. And so I was just kind of gonna let them do their thing. But I had a handful of ideas, um, because, and this is a little bit, behind the scenes, but
Mm.
we had a deadline to release the album because we were going to the UK for Rockstock,
Oh
and we
wow.
we were going over there, and we said, all right, if we're going to UK, we need to have new music, because they were there last year when they
Mm.
released their Salvation EP. And so they
Mm.
said, all right, if we're going back, if we're doing this grand thing, we need new music. So they set a deadline. It has to be done. We have to have CDs in hand so we can have them in the UK. And it
Right.
was getting towards, the middle of the year, and Rockstock was in December, and we said, all right, we need some more song ideas, and we need some stuff. So I had a couple ideas that I was sitting on that I sent to them, and a couple of them were shot down, but the two that ended up being picked up were Curse for Eternity and We Are One,
Oh wow.
which ended up being like two of the most popular songs on that album, which I was really, really
Yeah, I was
proud
gonna
of.
say, how's that make you feel?
Especially Curse for Eternity was the one that I was really like, because that was the first one I sent to them. The
Mm.
first one I wrote, sitting down thinking, all right, I want to write a gunmetal gray tune.
Right.
I was very happy with that. They definitely, it wasn't like my original music is, where like I had control over everything. If
Right.
Curse for Eternity would have been released the original way I had envisioned it, it'd be very different, and it wouldn't
Oh
have been
really?
as good. Yeah, it's definitely, and the same with We Are One. It
Mm.
was definitely, I gave him the skeleton. I gave him like Curse for Eternity. I gave him the chorus.
Mm.
But We Are One had no lyrics, no vocals, and it was a very collaborative effort on the rest of it.
That's cool. Did that instill some confidence? They had. Did they? Were they more confident for you or with
Yeah,
you
yeah, definitely. I think I
after
think
that?
I think part of it was like me proving myself. Like, hey,
Right.
I can write some of these
Yeah.
songs.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. What you've been in Enema, right? I thought I
Yeah,
had weird names.
yeah.
Enema.
Enema, the premier Blink-182 tribute.
How'd you come about get into that?
So that was mostly the brainchild of Oliver Sipe,
Mm.
who's the drummer for Garrett Schultz now. Uh, Played with a bunch of other bands over the years.
Mm.
He so I love Blink-182. I've loved
Me
Blink-182 all
too.
my life, and I actually used to like play Mark Hoppus. Like when I was in high school, I would get on my bass, and I didn't have a mic stand at the time, so I would set my Rock Band mic on my on like a level of my bookshelf that was at my chin and sing into the mic and play along with like an album.
Mm.
And I hadn't done that in a while, and it was like my senior year of college, and I was like stressed out about finals week and getting everything done. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna take like an hour or an hour and a half and just like jam. And I put it on Facebook Live. And I did
Mm.
like the first couple albums, like all the way through, and was playing all the songs. And Oliver saw it and was listening along and was like, hey, why don't we do that? Like, why don't we just do that? So I think in like 2017 we like came up with the idea of doing Enema, and
Mm.
we did a lot of stuff together. It's really our baby.
Right.
And we went through a couple people who we tried out to be like Tom, to sing and play guitar, and it just like wasn't working out, wasn't really going anywhere. And I finally said, I'm an idiot. Why don't I just ask Christian? And so, so Christian was like, well, I like Blink-182, but it's not really my thing. I like playing with Gun Metal Grand. I like playing with metal. But if you need someone to do a show, I know a lot of the music already. So I was like, all right. So we booked a show, and we're like, hey, we have
wow.
a show. And he's been with us ever since. And he still says when we have shows, and it's like, yeah, maybe I'll actually join the band one day.
I've played with guys like that where they help you fill in, kind of like you, like, oh, we need a bass player. Okay, let's book a gig. We got this gig, got the bass player. Hey man, you're really good. We do good together. Like, you want to be in the band? No, I don't want to be in a band right now.
and it's tough.
Okay.
Too,
yeah.
I'm playing with a group right now called Hot and Dangerous.
That sounds fun.
I'm playing drums for them.
Oh wow.
And I really like playing with them. They've had really crap luck with drummers over the years. They've all been mostly good people. It's just for one reason or another hasn't worked out, and they keep asking me to join, and I love them all. I'm friends with them all, but it's so tough because I'm already committed to so many other things, and there's so many other things that just like, I like playing drums with Hot and Dangerous, but it's not what I love. You know what I mean?
Right. So how long have you been playing drums?
I started playing drums probably when I was like 15 or 16, and I learned from playing Rock Band. And I tell that to people all the time, especially to parents who want their kids to learn drums, but are like, or the kids want to learn drums, but they're like, no, we're never doing that. You're not putting a drum set in the house. It's so loud. It's like, get them Rock Band. It's quiet. I mean, it's still a little noisy. It's, hitting stick on the pad, but, it's a great way for them to experience it at a fairly low cost, at a low volume, low, investment. And it's a good teaching tool. It's a surprisingly good teaching tool. Like you won't learn, the how to read music from it. You won't, but you will learn how to play a drum beat. You will learn how to use your limbs independently. You will learn how to use fills. One of them, Green Day Rock Band, actually, of all of them, actually has a section where it's like, learn to play drums, and they'll walk you through. Like, all right, this is how you use your right hand, and then you add the left hand, and then you do a fill, and then you do a more intricate fill, and then you do all this kind of stuff.
That's cool.
So
because
it's a great tool, and I will sing its praises till I die.
Yeah, I guess when it first came out, I was like, man, just pick up the real instrument and learn it,
Yep.
I've always looked at instruments like that as like, this was created once. Nobody knew how to play it. Like even a guitar. I'll pick up a guitar. I don't know any chords. I am not a guitarist, but I can drum on a guitar or a bass. If I were to play any other instrument, it'd be a bass. I could fake it,
Yeah.
I love Les Claypool and just, so, but I think,
I think a lot of people felt that way about Guitar Hero, especially because that was like the first one that came out. But I will say, I think Guitar Hero is responsible for a lot of people learning to play guitar. I think.
Yeah, I mean, Brady Hearn told me too. So you're not alone.
I think more than it was like, oh, they're picking up because they don't want to pick up the actual instrument. It was like a stepping stone. They would pick up Guitar Hero and be like, oh, it feels cool to have something in your hand, make the music, and then picking up actual guitar is like it's a big step from that, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think it inspired a lot of people to do that. I think it's, you know, I have such a spotty memory of my childhood, but it's probably what inspired me to play guitar. I would hazard a guess because I think it came out in like 2005 was the first one.
Man. Yeah, probably
I would
about
have
that.
been 10 or 11. You know what I mean? Right around the
Mhm.
time where I started getting interested in that.
Yeah, I can't imagine for me being older, like when I was, because I've been drumming since I was like 6, but my dad got me an old antique set, like boat sparkle blue, some at an antique thrift shop or something. And I started, and now I realize like, wow, my mom was understanding. Like she could have shut that down. I had a drum room, even when we moved houses and I got older, she still let me have drums, and yeah, so I thank my mom for letting me because you don't realize, yeah, kids don't
Yeah,
realize how drums
definitely.
are hard to
Yeah.
practice,
And that's something I've really tried not to take for granted because my parents were amazingly supportive of me through pretty much everything I did. You know, they were the ones that, I had a high school band called
Mhm.
Bored Out of Our Minds, and they would be at any show we played. And I mean, we
Yeah, that's
sometimes
cool.
needed them for transportation and stuff, but they would be at every show, every choir concert I had, every band concert I had, they were there, you know?
Yeah, it's really nice.
And
Um,
that's definitely something I hope to be able to do for my kids someday, even if it's
oh
not
yeah,
music, which is something I've had to, give myself the talk about where it's like, all right, if they're it's okay if they're not into music. It's okay if it's not their thing.
I have that because I bought my daughter, who's 10 now. I bought her a Ludwig Pocket Kit, the Questlove Pocket Kit, and it's really nice. I have it out in my shed next to mine, and but I try to make sure she's not doing it just for me.
Right.
Like do it because you. And she's in school now, and she's learning that she has a drum teacher. So yeah, it's cool. And I have a son who's growing up, so hopefully, I know how you feel. It's like if you don't, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Definitely.
um,
I'll give you the opportunity. I
yeah,
will provide
yeah,
you with everything you
yep,
need. But
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, you talked about high school band. It reminded me of my first band was Chafe,
Mhm.
and I know I already ruined this by telling you before, but I'll tell it again because you know. But yeah, Ken was yeah Chafe. I was friends with the guys, and they came into my work one day at Heckinger's, which is now Wolf Furniture out in New York because everything
Oh,
gets torn down and
okay.
changed. Yeah, used to be a hardware store, and then Lowe's and Home Depot came into town.
Mhm.
But they came in and were like, "Hey, man, me and the guitarist, we're not getting along. We're gonna stop, the band." And we didn't do any gigs or anything. It was still just practice, but it was, we were friends.
Right.
And these guys had, found my dead cat and put him in a box for me when I had him at my house the first
Yeah.
time. So we had a bond. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I wonder what they're going to do with our website, our whatever GeoCities website that we had, and
Yeah.
I went on there and was like, wait, there's a new drummer. That's not my name. I'm not Ken Newcomer. Who's that? And realized that, oh, this is my first band screwing over. All right, thanks, guys. You could have just been man about it and said something. And I really don't blame Ken. I can't. I mean, I know how music goes nowadays, and it was
And
just my first taste,
yeah, and I think I said it last time we talked too, but I've definitely been in that situation, and especially as like the odd guy out, the one that's coming
hmm
in, it's like you don't always know what's going on. That you're just like,
Right.
hey, man, that needs a drummer, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, it was just like, man. But yeah, ever since then, I've been friends with Ken, but we have that little bit of history, so it's funny. I'm still friends with him, and it's cool to see him going on and doing other things. And it's also good to see that Chafe went nowhere.
It's
So,
a little bit of
haha,
sad.
guys. Yeah, the guitarist was his name was Sean Adams, and his mom owned Adams Jewelers out in New York.
Oh, okay.
Big, yeah, yeah. So I don't know
Small
what
world.
happened. He was really good though, and they were nice guys, and it was, but it was definitely not my last, you know, band
Absolutely.
screwing over, just the first of many. But that's why it's nice when you find somebody, like, you think of Aerosmith and stuff have been together for years. well, I mean, broke up, but then got back together and whatever. But just the longevity, So
Well, and
it,
I think a lot of people look at that too and say, when their band breaks up or is having trouble, they're like, "Oh, I can't let this band break up." Aerosmith's been together for 50 years.
yeah,
But
yeah, the
it's like
pressure.
in a relationship. Shit happens sometimes, and
Yeah,
if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. There's something different out there for you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been in everything. I was almost in a country metal band.
Okay.
That yeah, and then what? A couple days before the gig, they called me and were like, "Yeah, man, had a bad practice.
Mhm.
Couldn't get the stop and starts.
Right.
A practice."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? But it threw their confidence in me, and we're like, "Yeah, hey, man, we're gonna get a new drummer for Saturday. I know it's Thursday now or whatever, but yeah. But hey, you can still come to the show. I won't ever forget that. You can still come to the show if you want." It's like, yeah, I'll get right on that. But hey, like you said, everything happens for a reason. Just like every relationship, you meet girls, and you don't get married to the first girl. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And I learned that the hard way.
So, what drives you to still play music?
It's just, I think part of it is I'm good at it. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Mm,
something that I know. So I think I'm always gonna have that. I'm always gonna have that to fall back on. But I think the biggest thing is I still enjoy it. There's
yeah,
still just a love that I have for playing. I'll catch myself every now and again where I'll be mixing a song or something and I'll get a mix just right, or I'll be playing and I'll find a riff that I really like, or be playing a riff of a song I really like, and just catch myself like really like smiling, jamming out. It's like, oh
yeah.
yeah, I like playing music. That's why I do this.
That's cool. Yeah, because a lot of times when you do something you love and you do it for money or you do it for work, it becomes work. And I've played those
Yeah.
gigs where you're like, here we go again, and you're
We're
like, wait, I love doing
growth.
this.
For the longest time I was doing a lot of different music things for no money, right? And I was doing it just because I loved it. And I I make money from music now. It's certainly not
Mm,
enough to make a living, but it is part of it. And
mm,
there's part of me that says now, okay, well, I'll turn down certain gigs if the money isn't right or whatever.
mm.
But I don't do that a lot. Part of it is like, it's business. I have to do that.
Right.
It strengthens the brand or whatever, and it,
Mm,
does that, this and that. But I do still do a lot of things for free. Most of the shows I play with Hot and Dangerous, a great example. I I don't make any money on. They don't make any money on. They
right.
just do it because they like it. They enjoy doing it, and I do it because I love doing it. I love playing music, and I especially
I get that.
love playing drums. I like I'm most comfortable on bass. It's what
Mm.
I've been playing the longest. Uh, I write most of my things on guitar, and I like doing original things on guitar. But there's something about drums. I love the energy of playing drums, and yeah.
Do you mostly play fast or do you play slower stuff? Which one do you groove more to?
Um, I'm definitely more of like a punk drummer. Like
Mm,
I'm very straightforward. I'm very just all right. I'm doing beats, and that's it.
yeah.
I definitely I'm learning the more I play to groove to sit back in a groove a little bit more. And we actually with Hot and Dangerous they play uh Hard to Handle by the Black Crows.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
a good one.
playing that song was the first time I had to play something that was like not slow, but it's like it's laid back, and
Mm,
it definitely it grooves. It's not fills the entire time. It's just it's subtle little things and sitting into the beat and getting into that. And there's definitely, there was a point maybe like, you know, 15 gigs in with them that I was like, okay, yeah, now I'm starting to feel it.
mm. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. A lot of people don't realize drumming, the pressure behind it, because you have
Absolutely.
to carry the beat the whole time. Like, if you get out of your mindset in your head, like a
Mhm.
lot of times I tend to close my eyes,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
because you feel it. You're not distracted by everything, you know?
Yeah, it's sometimes when you're, especially if you have a kit that has, you've got three toms, you've got six cymbals. You're
Right.
looking at it and you're like, oh, I want to use all these things. I want to do all it. So sometimes if you just sit back and close your eyes, you're just like, okay, I'm just doing what I feel and doing what comes naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes less is more,
Yes,
because
absolutely. I learned that from Muff, from
when you
Jeff.
try a fill and then you have to get back into it and then you mess it up. Yeah. It's like, went too far. You can always tell when drummers do that because they just kind of, they'll be in the beat, but you can see them shake their head like,
Yeah,
damn
it's like, oh, that doesn't work.
it. Yeah. Um, you played in the street recently. That's right. We talked
Yes,
about that, but
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
that looked really cool. I was jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely it was an interesting experience. So they do this normally in Harrisburg where they'll close down a part of Second Street, which is like the main drag where all the bars are, and they'll close
Mm,
down like 3 blocks of it, and they'll bring tables out, and you have table service from all the different bars and restaurants and things. And so we got sponsored basically, whatever, by
mm,
JB Love Drafts to come play outside their bar, and they're a rock and metal bar,
that's
so
cool.
when we're a metal band, so we went and played there, and and I was surprised how many people were into it, because there's definitely, there's some pop bars out there, there's some
Yeah.
hoity-toity restaurants, but I was very happy with the kind of response we got, especially as the night went on. It was
Mm.
late at night. It was getting to the point where we had to shut down because of noise. We were playing all the heavy stuff, and people were lining up, and it was nice.
That's got to be fun. Yeah. I mean, that's what music's all about. Like
Yep.
playing in the street. Just like here it is.
Definitely.
You're in a
Yeah,
3 mile radius, but you're hearing it.
yeah. I used to busk out on the street when I went to school in
Oh
Westchester.
man.
I would just go out there with like my acoustic guitar, and if I might bring a box or something and sit on, and then I had a little like a foot tambourine that I actually still use for my like acoustic stuff when I go play at bars and restaurants. But I would just sit out there and I would just do it for the love. I didn't even think to start putting out like a tip jar until the third or fourth time I did it, and I was just going out there and playing music.
There's a guy I found on YouTube that I really want to talk to. His name's
Mhm.
Cam Cole.
Okay.
Cam Cole. You got to check him out. He has it's called a farmer's foot drum. Never seen anything like it, and they sell them. I found it because I did a deep dive. And it's a snare, it's cymbal, it's all in a foot drum. So he's guitaring and using the drum. He's got it, dude. I'm telling you.
I just saw someone the other day. I did a benefit for leukemia and lymphoma in York, actually, like
Oh wow.
down by the waterway.
Hmm.
And there was a guy there, and I should have gotten a card from him or asked him his name, but he played like fiddle, like violin and viola, and
Hmm.
he had a setup where he sat on a box and he wore tap shoes, and he had a
Oh
little
wow.
he had a little board that he would do tap shoes on, but then also the box he was sitting on was like a cajon, and so he had a pedal that would hit the side of it to hit it like a bass drum, and so he would
Oh
hit the bass
wow.
drum and do a couple taps, hit the bass drum, it was something else to watch, and he had like bells on his ankles. It was
It's
crazy.
inspirational. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
wow. It's like grassroots music.
Yeah, and especially like it was cool seeing that, because doing like playing in bands, I think
Mm.
you get stuck a lot of the times, and you play, when you play with bands, you're playing with a lot of the same kind of bands, and you're seeing
Yeah.
a lot of the same kind of music because you're in that scene. And that was the first time I'd really like seen a folk act in like a couple of years, and I was like
Right.
almost forgot that was a thing that you could do.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, awesome.
Um, do you have any advice for future musicians?
The advice, whenever I'm asked that, the advice I always like to give is don't be afraid to suck.
Yeah,
Like
that's the advice I want you to say because it's good.
there's there and I'm guilty of this too. There's definitely this fear of, okay, if I don't make something that's good, or if I don't make something that's perfect, nobody's going to like it. I don't want to I'm not just not even going to bother, you know.
Mm.
And it's hard to get over that, but it's something that you need to get over. It's you know certainly, if I was, 14 years old and I heard the kind of music that I'm making now, you know, I would say, oh yeah, that's the kind of music I want to make. But when I was 14, I didn't make it like that. I made
Right.
crappy songs. I have gigabytes of old songs and recordings that
Oh, I do too.
will someday be released, I'm sure, but maybe when I'm older and I care less. But
Yeah.
that sucked, and that show the progress that I made. The progress
Mm,
that I made playing and with songwriting and with mixing and arranging and everything. So don't be afraid to just suck and put something out there. If it sucks, great. Then you grow from that.
yeah.
If people say this sucks, I mean, that kind of sucks, but grow from that, learn from it.
Mm. And honestly, that advice helped me with this podcast because, as you know, we're doing it live, and I'm doing it different than I usually
Yeah,
do
yeah. This is
because
definitely, this was a lot of different attempts to make this work.
yes, I'm sorry for that. I do appreciate it though.
That's
You
all right.
understanding?
And that's exactly the thing. It sucked the first time, or it sucked trying to make it work, but we made it work.
Right. Yeah, so I hope everything went good with this. I was really afraid. I want everything, like you said, to be good. I want to put out a good quality podcast or product. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out. All my walls are thin here, so like I'm in my son's room. I'm trying, try. I painted this. I painted
Yeah,
where is it? I painted that like an hour before we went on, just so I had something.
that's awesome.
One of them, wherever the hell it is.
I didn't even think to turn a light on in this room.
Well, that what I mean. That's the things you think of. I'm like, okay, shit, I got to worry about the background, and
Yeah,
people just want to hear you. They want to hear what you're gonna say. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I have to just kind of go with that. So, but I do appreciate it. And hopefully I can make this something great.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you. I wish you all the best. And I guess we'll end it here. Where can people find you?
So everything you can find me on is at Ed Allison Music. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, any of those things, it's all at Ed Allison, Allison Music.
Sounds good, buddy. All right, guys. This has been first try for Hanging with Nate the Drummer live. I appreciated Ed for coming on, being my guinea pig.
Absolutely, thank you.
I know you're not used to longer than a minute videos,
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
I'm not
Usually
either.
for quite a while.
I don't know if you saw it, but I did a Stairway to Heaven in a minute. I did a
Yeah,
TikTok.
it's,
Did you see
yeah,
it? I was proud of that. I had the CD lyrics. The only song that's on the inside of the CD book was Stairway to Heaven, which I don't blame them. But yeah, I was like, huh, wonder if I could do that in a minute. Somehow it worked, but yeah, it's amazing the things that you get inspired by. And also, the last time we talked, after that, I was inspired to write a song, but it's
oh,
a punk kind of song that I'm going to send it to you.
that's awesome. Yeah,
And you can, it's my gift to you. You can take it if you want or not, but
yeah,
it'd be cool, to be our little collab, see what you
absolutely.
think, even if it's a TikTok, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay. So we'll have to duet or something on TikTok. We'll have a
yeah,
good time.
definitely.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna promote this and get people out there, learn about you. If they don't know, now they will.
Now you know. The more you know.
The more you know. All right, buddy. I guess we're done.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.